That blaster's on full.
What's up guys, Gripe here with another review, and today we're going to check out another Marvel Legends figure, and this is the Taskmaster figure from the Red Skull Red Onslaught wave. And as always, we'll start off with the packaging, and you have your typical Marvel Legends packaging. You have the big window up front with the figure and the accessories behind it. Above that you've got the Legends logo, and below that you have the wave logo. It's the Legends series Captain America wave. And below that it says Mercenaries of Mayhem, as this and Scourge are the two Mercenaries of Mayhem. Speaking of, on this side you have a picture of Scourge, and on the back you've got a big picture of both the Mercenaries of Mayhem, both Taskmaster and Scourge. And underneath that you've got a picture of all the figures in the wave, as well as a picture of the Build-A-Figure. And above that you've got a write-up on Taskmaster. You could pause this if you want to read it. And on the other side of the box we've got some artwork of Taskmaster. And on the top of the box you've got the Cap Shield logo. And on the bottom you've got a bunch of legal mumbo jumbo. So now we'll crack the box open and check the accessories out. And he does come with this nice shield, and this is the same mold as the Captain America shield. Obviously they're using a blue plastic. You've got the clip for the arm and a peg here for the back. And you can see this is actually pretty nicely painted. There's really no issues aside from the side here is a little scuffed. But otherwise the paint app came out really good on this. And he also comes with this nifty power sword, and it is a little crooked there, but nothing a hairdryer can't fix. And they use an orange opaque plastic for this that really captures the light and kind of gives it a glowing effect, which is nice. The hilt is a plain black plastic. It does have some nice sculpted details, but it's really nothing that special. And he also comes with a nice Udon head, and this is from the Udon costume that he had. I think that was in his first solo series back in like 2002. And this is also really nicely sculpted. You can see it's just a plain silver plastic in there, but the paint and sculpt on this are really nice and definitely has a really cool look to it. And the Build-A-Figure part he comes with is the Red Skull head, and I'll go over that in more detail when I do the Build-A-Figure. Now I'll check out the sculpt and paint on the figure itself, and this is definitely a very cool looking Marvel Legends figure. I have to say, between this and the Scourge figure, I think those two are some of the cooler Marvel Legends figures they've had in a while. I think they did a really good job on the paint and sculpt of the head here. You can see it's really nicely sculpted, and all the paint on it is really nice and crisp. You can see the eyes look really good, the cheeks, the nose. Again, no issues with any overpaint or anything. It came out really good. And the hood is pretty much the same as the Udon head. It's just white instead of that dark blue color, but it does look good. And all the paint on the chest here is really nice and crisp. It probably could have used another coat of white over top of the blue. You can see it kind of peeking through, but nothing too bad. The guns and holsters here look really good. You can see there's some nice sculpted details on the back of this harness. I think these gun holsters came out really good as well, and you can notice the grips on the pistols are black, so it stands out a little bit. I do wish they opened up, but you know, it's not that big a deal really. Chest came out good. The buckle came out really good on this, nice and crisply painted. I think the pouches look good sculpt wise. I do wish they had a little bit of a wash on them to kind of make them pop a little bit more, but again, nothing terrible for a Legend. The arms came out really good. I like the angles on the shoulder pads. I like the marbleization on the elbow pads here. And just overall, I think the arms came out really good. And again, everywhere that there's paint, it's really crisp. You can see it on the arms here in the elbow crease. On the hands, it came out really nice and crisp. On the side here, the torso. Again, most of the torso paint probably could have used another layer or two, but still looks pretty good and it's very crisp, which is nice. And you can see the legs here. You can notice that the blue in the legs is slightly different color than the torso, but it's not that bad. And again, really nicely painted. I really like the marbleization here on the knee pads as well. I think that gives it a really cool effect. Much better than just a flat plastic. And you can see here, this is really the only issue. They went a little bit over the edge there on that leg, and that's the only gripe I have with the paint app, which is pretty unusual for a Marvel Legend. The feet also came out really good. All the paint is nice and crisp on them. You can see there's no issues with the blue and silver. I also like the sculpt. Those nice thick treads look really good. So now check out the articulation on the figure, and he doesn't really look up that much, which is kind of a disappointment. You can see you can only get him so far and he kind of springs back. He does look down quite a good amount, although you have to be careful. Sometimes the chin gets caught there. And you can rotate the head completely around. There is no pivot, unfortunately. You have decent range of motion on the shoulders, nothing great. You're just under straight. You do have a bicep cut, and it does have double jointed elbows, so you can get a pretty good bend on that. As you can see, you can almost have him touch his shoulder, which is nice. And he does have swivel and hinge wrists. You can rotate that all the way around. You can get it down and up about that far. And the diaphragm joint on mine was a little loose, nothing too bad, but it was a little bit looser than some of the others. You can get them back about that far and forward that far. You can also rotate completely at the waist. And the belt does get a little bit in the way, but not too bad. You can see you got a little stuck there, but you can rotate that completely around. You can get the legs out about that far. And you do have an upper thigh cut. Also has nice double jointed knees, and you can get about that far of a bend. You may be at 110 degrees or so. You can get the foot down that far, which is pretty good. And he goes up about that far, which is nice. And you do have full rotation at the ankle, which is always a plus. And he does have rocker pivot. And you're probably getting maybe somewhere around 40 degrees in either direction. So now check out the size and scale of the figure. And he stands at 6.5 inches tall. And here he is next to the Captain America from the same wave on the left and the Iron Man Mark 43 from the Infinite Series wave on the right. And it could just be the hood, but I think he's a little bit taller than he should be in relation to the other characters here. But it's probably only by a little. So overall, I have to say I really like this figure. I think it came out awesome. It looks great. And I definitely think Taskmaster is one of the more underrated characters in the Marvel Universe. And it's good to see a figure that really does him justice. I think he's got some pretty good accessories with the sword and the shield. I do wish I threw in some guns as well. But I'm definitely glad that they included the Udon head. And I also think the paint app on this figure is really good. I'm used to having a lot of issues with the paint on my Marvel Legends. And this is a pleasant surprise. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the review. Subscribe for more.